Welcome to No More Desire, where we build a mindset and lifestyle for lasting recovery from porn. My name's Jake Castleman, and I'm excited to dive in with you. Let's get started, my friend. One of the hardest things to see when it comes to porn addiction and the cravings that you experience is that they are often not of a sexual nature. Your brain has you convinced that you are aroused and want sex, so where do you go? Porn, masturbation, partners, your spouse. You go to these places to get your fix, and you wonder why you constantly have this insatiable desire. How can I just have had sex and desire porn an hour later, you ask? How can I tell myself one day that I hate porn and come crawling back to it the next? How can I know that this behavior hurts my marriage, my family, myself, and continue using? How do other men do it? How do they seem to have a handle on their sex drive and not need porn? Why is my mind so consumed by this obsession? I'm here to tell you, my friend, that your brain is excellent at distraction. It is a master of disguise, and it has worked hard to ensure that you do not see what is under the surface. And that is that the sexual desire you experience is not sexual at all, but emotional and relational. In this episode, I'm going to discuss a cornerstone of long-lasting recovery, and that is emotional regulation. The way that you and I relate and respond to our emotions, which is pivotal to recovery from pornography. As long as you are not aware of what you are feeling and why you are feeling it, you cannot get sober. Unprocessed feelings, emotions that I do not fully feel and heal, can easily transform into cravings. So today, I'm going to teach you the keys to engage with emotions, respond to them effectively, and not only reduce cravings and avoid porn relapse, but experience greater happiness, closeness in your relationships, and meaning in your life. Before we dive in, please like, rate, and follow this podcast. It's a huge help to me and my team and the growth of this show, and it helps us bring you the latest in porn addiction recovery and personal growth. All right, let's get started. One thing that I often have a difficult time helping a fellow recovering addict see is the connection between their everyday emotions and the need they feel for porn. I've worked with so many men who carry a lot of pressure, a lot of shame, a sense of being less than, or a sense of needing to be more than, a constant need to be busy. They're always in a rush. They always feel angry or uptight for some reason. That was my life. Or men that feel they are outside society and aren't like others. Also how my life was. I work with men that carry sensitive feelings, that feel things deeply and don't understand why they are affected so heavily by such small things, or why they get so fixated or feel so rigid a lot of the time. All of these challenges stem from unconscious belief systems that keep us stuck, and all of them can be improved significantly through emotional regulation, which we're talking about today. My primary method of emotional regulation is emotional mindfulness and what I call the RAIL method, which has already helped a ton of guys. It's what my clients talk about the most. The men in the academy often talk about the most. It's very, very helpful in addition to whatever other tools and practices we do in the academy. I teach men to be deeply present with every emotion that they feel, even the painful ones, and really especially the painful ones. See, the problem is that so many of us don't know how to suffer. We don't suffer well, as Jay Stringer says. We live in a world that teaches us to avoid suffering. We are offered distractions. I've talked about this in a lot of episodes: TV, social media, video games. We are given foods that numb our minds and spike our pleasure centers of our brains. All of these activities spike and elevate our dopamine, the pleasure chemical, quote unquote, of our brain. It's much more than that, but the pleasure chemical, as we refer to it. This then drains our dopamine because these things break the natural laws of effort to pleasure ratio. We are meant to experience a relatively equal ratio between effort to pleasure, and these things break that, and we are living in an economy of effort to pleasure ratio breaking, if you will. Dopamine is the chemical, guys, that our brain and body uses for focus, attention, drive, pursuit, and feeling a sense of direction and purpose. And so, because of things like TV, social media, video games, junk foods, and processed foods that all spike dopamine, we are constantly being drained of it because these things come easily, they are instantly gratifying, they do not require, they require little to no effort on my part. And so I am then depleting my dopamine because it breaks the rules of my brain. We're just understanding this over the last few decades, at least from a scientific standpoint. Things in ancient cultures, we understood this long before this, thousands of years ago. But we're experiencing with technology now. When I am depleted of dopamine, I will automatically seek more of it. Porn is one of the greatest dopamine spikers, like these other things are, but even greater, and therefore the greatest dopamine drainer, much like drugs are. It's extremely similar, if not identical in a lot of cases. The world will tell you that technologies like video games, social media, TV, right, even porn are great ways to relax, take a break, have a good time, or feel excited when in fact they deplete you of the very thing that you need to experience those feelings. This is one of the things that's so tragic in our day and age, and what we can really change through the power of choice and changing what we spend our time doing over time, little by little. Rather than turning to these harmless pastimes, quote unquote, to solve our problems, we need to develop healthier coping mechanisms that serve us right now and in the long run. Emotional mindfulness is one of these healthy mechanisms. I want you to imagine that your child has just approached you with a problem. They tell you that they feel afraid, inadequate, sad, or they tell you that they are hungering for human connection or a sense of safety. You then respond to this child by turning and walking away from them. As I tell you this, how do you feel? Shocked, appalled, you're wincing, you're feeling sorry for the kid. You're saying that you would never do that. Yet this is how so many of us treat our own emotions inside of ourselves all the time, and how we treat other people's emotions. We walk away from them. The way we relate to our emotions inside defines our inner world. Do I accept my emotions? Can I work through hard things? Am I capable? Do I give myself space to feel sad or angry sometimes? Or do I judge these feelings in myself? Do I lie to myself about these feelings? Am I in tune with these thoughts and emotions, or do I ignore them? The way I treat my emotions also directly affects how I treat others. I cannot offer someone else emotionally what I cannot offer myself emotionally. When I spend a lifetime halfway ignoring what I feel, lying to myself, giving attention only to pleasurable emotions or pleasant emotions, or pretending that I am okay when I'm not, and I'm not accepting that or seeing that, then I am not fully alive. And this is so crucial. I need to feel fully alive in order to be sober. I am only experiencing parts of myself if I'm not doing that, and I'm ignoring the rest of myself. When this happens, these ignored parts, these ignored emotions either shrink down or blow up inside of my nervous system. It's a very simplistic way to say this. In other words, I have parts of myself that become younger because they're not being paid attention to. They don't grow up. They don't mature. They're becoming more insecure, right? They're being stuffed down. They're being ignored. They become more detached because they're so isolated. I'm not engaging with them. And other parts of me become impulsive, unpredictable, or seem to overwhelm me and take over sometimes. They blow up, right? They shrink down or they blow up. When that happens, it becomes increasingly difficult to live with integrity. This is a hard one, but let's think about the word integrity. I hide things, I lie about my behaviors, I find places to escape, and I don't give my whole self to relationships. Why am I lacking this integrity? Because I'm not fully integrated. Integrity, integration. I have not welcomed all parts of myself. I've not fully integrated who I am. I do not see myself completely. And so I lack the ability to fully show up the way that I want to, the way that my wife needs me to, the way that my kids need me to. I then feel disconnected. I feel detached. I feel aimless. I feel unloved, like I don't belong. And I cause others around me to feel these same things frequently. Maybe not always in direct ways, but indirect ways. That was confusing. Maybe not always directly, but indirectly. Because I relate to others the same way I relate to my own emotions and these parts of myself. I can only relate to others emotionally how I relate to myself emotionally. If I want to quit porn, I must instead begin witnessing and welcoming every part of me, every emotion that I feel. Oh man, this is a hard one. I begin welcoming every emotion that I feel with acceptance and compassion. Acceptance and compassion, and this takes practice. I see what is happening inside of me, why it is happening, and I take ownership over my response. To live with integrity means to live with wholeness. And this is only possible when I know how to be mindful of and regulate painful emotions that I would otherwise ignore or numb through addiction. Or addictive emotions, for that matter. There are a lot of addictive emotions like anger that seek to control situations, judge others, resist, stuff down, right? Set forceful boundaries. I'm not saying anger is bad, just when we use it improperly, it is bad or harmful, right? Not inherently bad in and of itself. So what does it take to regulate my emotions so I can break free from porn? It all starts by building a new relationship with my emotions. Most of us have been taught that there are, as I was just saying, good and bad emotions, or negative and positive emotions. Happiness, good. Sadness, bad. Patience, good. Anger, bad. We are given an incredibly black and white framework for emotion in our current Western world. It's not always been this way, nor is it this way in other parts of the world. Essentially, this way of seeing things says, seek pleasure, avoid pain. Seek pleasurable emotions, avoid painful ones. But this is not how emotion works. When I take this kind of approach to emotion, I invite some emotions while exiling other emotions. In doing so, I become fragmented as a person. I'm not fully alive. I'm not fully integrated. Instead of this, I learn how to become a witness to emotion is what needs to happen. I stop fragmenting myself. I stop disintegrating myself, and I start witnessing emotions. And I begin gaining a new relationship with them. You have likely been taught that your emotions and thoughts define you. I'm going to tell you something different. You've been taught that emotions mean something about your worth, your identity. We often don't think about this. If I think judgmental things, I'm a judgmental person. If I experience anger frequently, I'm an angry person. If I feel kind feelings frequently, then I am a kind person. Notice how my feelings and thoughts define who I am. Here's a different concept, a different way of seeing it that is much more helpful for our growth so that we can relate to emotion differently and we can find greater freedom, emotional freedom, so that we can get sober. Rather than believing thoughts and emotions define me, what if instead they are here to refine me? In other words, every thought and every emotion is part of your growth process. They can all help you become a better person if you so choose, which is crucial. But you need to know how. So we're going to talk about that. What if instead of these emotions being who you are, emotions instead were something you experience? This is so hard for so many of us because we think emotions define us, right? And if an emotion defines me, then I'm accountable for it, right? If it doesn't define who I am or define anything about me, then I'm not accountable for it. But I'm going to say something different here. You are not your brain nor your body, You are consciousness. This is not a new concept to many of us. You are awareness. You are a soul. You are a spirit. See it through the Eastern or Western lens. You've been placed inside a vessel for human experience, which is your brain and body. Within this vessel, you experience a million things every day. I'm hit with fear, insecurity, sadness, anger, the impulse to shut down, cravings, loneliness. And throughout it all, I try to keep my head above water. That's not easy. And it's not supposed to be. It's all for my growth long term as a spiritual being. I'm here to have a physical experience that refines me. This is so easy to forget for me. Whether I opt into this refining process is up to me. And that's why our role with thoughts and emotions is not to let them own us, but for us to own them. And I don't mean getting owned, I mean taking ownership. It is not to be a victim to the emotions either, but to be a steward over them, a leader for my emotions. Think of them like a team inside you that needs your leadership. Instead of ignoring or distracting yourself from hard emotions, you witness them, you welcome them, you listen to them, you feel your way through them. You feel them in the body. You feel with them, having self-empathy. You get in relationship to them as if they are not who you are, but something you are interacting with. This takes practice, but it is magical when we do it right. Quick pause here. If you've been struggling to quit porn, my friend, I'm here to tell you that you're not a bad person. You're not a bad husband. You're not simply selfish or perverted. These are lies that you're told. You can overcome porn addiction for good, but this does not come through just fighting cravings, staying busy, attending support groups, or just being more disciplined. The secret is this, and it's not that secret. Your addiction to porn is a symptom of other key factors of your mindset and lifestyle. And by building a recovery ecosystem in your life, you can eventually lose the need for porn. Let me tell you a little bit about this. I work with guys in groups and one-on-one. I give them an ecosystem for recovery found through courses, community, and coaching. I call this intensive recovery. I teach men step-by-step methods to process difficult emotions, how to relate to and respond to cravings without fighting, without panicking. I use IFS, CBT, mindfulness, and nervous system balancing practices to help guys regulate emotion. Then I also teach lifestyle changes that increase dopamine, transform relationships, and build daily routines and habits that support recovery. And this is not just information. We apply all of it through hands-on exercises in a structured program. Overcoming porn may feel impossible, I get that, but building good habits that eventually remove it from the picture is possible. If you want to learn more, head to nomordesire.com/coaching. You'll find links to the academy and group coaching there, as well as a link to learn more about the one-on-one program and set up a free discovery call. I'd love to see you there, my friend. Back to the show. We need to allow emotions to run their course. I refer to this in my program as the railway of emotion, right? We use the rail method to follow emotion down the railway as far as it will go until it's run its course. It's reached its destination at the next station, where it can then be unloaded and relieved. When a feeling shows up, your role is not to make it go away. This could be a feeling such as cravings for porn, anger towards a loved one, anxiety about the future, or a host of other things, procrastination, perfectionism, self-sabotage. Instead of rejecting these emotions, these states of mind, get into a relationship of acceptance toward them. We relate with acceptance. You let the emotion know it's okay for it to be there. You recognize that it's not who you are. You appreciate the reasons it may have shown up. You seek to be fully present with it for as long as it takes. Once you're able to establish a little distance between you and the emotion, as an observer and a witness for it, you then respond to it. So you relate to acceptance, and then you respond with compassion toward the emotion. You ask it why it feels the need to help you escape through addiction or to protect you from danger through anger. You express understanding for where it is coming from. You investigate, getting curious about the beliefs or the history that might be behind the emotion. You feel inside yourself for the deeper needs within you that have led to this emotional response. After you have related with acceptance and responded with compassion toward the craving, the anger, the anxiety, whatever it might be, you then consider ways you could meet these needs, shift your perspective, or turn outward to help others. You seek to fulfill what your body or mind truly requires underneath it all. This is emotional leadership, and it's, of course, crucial for recovery. Emotional mindfulness and emotional leadership are not easy. They require practice, they require consistency, and often working with others or learning from mentors. That's why the No More Desire Brotherhood is practicing emotional mindfulness during the whole month of August. We're completing a monthly challenge together. I want you to come check it out. If you're not already a part of it, it's completely free. You can learn more at nomordesire.com/community. Also, a couple of quick promotions for people who are interested. If you want to learn more about the RAIL method that I have mentioned, in depth with practices, guidance, specific lessons to walk you through the whole thing. This is an emotional mindfulness process that's already helped hundreds of men gain sobriety. So you can check it out at nomordesire.com/rail. It's an online course. It's going for 15% off this month with code AugustChallenge. So again, nomordesire.com/rail. And then if you are looking for something with structure, group support, you're serious, you want to get better, you want to get sober, you can join the No More Desire Academy or learn more about it. I'm working directly with a private group of men and teaching them to use the RAIL method this month. We're working on emotional mindfulness all month long with courses and exercises in depth. We're meeting together as a group to discuss these things. I'm having men share their stories. You can start your 2-week free trial or learn more at nomordesire.com/academy. You can find all these resources, by the way, in the description of this episode or at nomordesire.com/tools. You can find my free ebook there, my free workshop there. There's plenty of free resources and paid resources to look into. So I hope that today's episode has been helpful to you. God bless and much love. Thanks for listening to No More Desire. It's a genuine blessing for me to do the work that I do, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you, my listeners, so thank you. If you've enjoyed today's episode, do me a favor. Follow this podcast, hit the notification bell, and shoot me a rating. The more people who do this, the more men this podcast will reach. So take a few minutes of your time and hit those buttons. And if you want to take your sobriety to the next level, check out my free workshop, The 8 Keys to Lose Your Desire for Porn, or my free ebook, The 10 Tools to Conquer Cravings. These are specialized pieces of content that will give you practical exercises and applied solutions to overcome porn addiction. And you can find them at nomordesire.com. As a listener of the No More Desire podcast, you are part of a worldwide movement of men who are breaking free of porn to live more impactful, meaningful, and selfless lives. So keep learning, keep growing, and keep building that recovery mindset and lifestyle. God bless. Everything expressed on the No More Desire podcast are the opinions of the host and participants and is for informational and educational purposes only. This podcast should not be considered mental health therapy or as a substitute thereof. It is strongly recommended that you seek out the clinical guidance of a qualified mental health professional. If you're experiencing thoughts of suicide, self-harm, or a desire to harm others, please dial 911 or go to your nearest emergency room.